Hello and good evening, everybody. How is everyone today? I'll just wait a little bit until people come in on board and can watch the video and join me on this chat talking about intuitive eating as it creates lots of confusion. As many people are not really sure what it actually means. Intuitive eating, does it mean that I eat everything I want or as much as I want, or is it a diet that I go on? What is that? Yeah, so it creates lots of confusions. So I decided to talk today about what it actually means. What does it mean to eat intuitively? And does it mean that I eat whatever I want, or is there something else that I can do? And you guys have asked me a few questions here already, so I have some questions here on the side, and I will try to answer those questions then after at the end of our session today. But at any time, please message me. You can type in your comments about any questions you have or any comments that you have, and I'll try to talk to you about those comments or answer your questions as much as I can. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself for those of you who maybe you don't know me that well, but I guess most of you probably will know something about me as you are part of the group, the Reconnect with Food, Body and Mind group, so you will know a little bit about myself. But I'll introduce myself anyway so that you know a little bit about me. So my name is Eugenia, and I am a nutrition and mindfulness coach and a business psychologist. So I have a little bit of psychology background and have worked with many people focusing on personal development and coaching, and did then a certificate in nutrition to become a holistic nutrition coach. And so that's where my nutrition comes in, and the mindfulness is basically something that I focus on because I understand as part of what I do with my clients is that it's usually not our mind that is a problem. It's not usually the diet that is the problem or the way that we always believe. It's actually our mindset. Yeah, so it is the mind that is holding us back from or keeps us trapped from where we are. What the challenges might be very, very different. Yeah, so I've done a little bit of research with my current clients or my potential clients, and you guys are so good at answering my questions in the group. That helps me to understand actually what your challenges are, and quite often the challenges is how we feel, we women, about ourselves. Yeah, it's the confidence we lack. Quite often the confidence, or there is this perception we need to look certain way, we need to behave certain way so that we are liked, because there is the society that we believe expects from us to have a certain body. Yeah, and or the media causes maybe some of it as well. So what we see on TV, what we see in the magazines, and it can be quite hard sometimes for us to understand or to see our own value, that we are good the way we are. Yeah, because we believe that we need to look a certain way. Sorry, I just need to change how I sit because it's not comfortable. Okay. So, and you're most welcome while you're watching to make any comments or ask any questions. But I have some questions here in front of me already, so which is good. And always welcome to do thumb up if there's something I said that you like. That means that I am actually talking about what you're interested in, or a heart, whatever feels good for you. Okay. All right. So let's start. Let's talk about intuitive eating. So what does it mean? intuitive eating. Basically, intuitive eating means that we make peace with food. We establish a relationship with food that is not based on fear, but based on this is just food and this is just nutrients for us. So we eat it as joy and to enjoy the food, obviously, as well, because why would I eat something that I don't like eating? It doesn't make sense to me. It's like anything in life, right? So it is based on enjoyment, but seeing it as not something that I'm scared of. Yeah, and unfortunately, quite often we create that fear of food because we believe that it makes us gaining weight. But that's a question: does it or does it not? Yeah. So it's about creating that relationship, good relationship, this healthy relationship with food, and get rid of that constant worry about food, because unfortunately they can impact our life, that we think about food the entire day. Yeah, I might have breakfast and think already the next meal what I'm going to eat in an hour's time, or what I'm going to eat for lunch or for dinner. So our constant worries are around food. What is it what I can eat? What is it what I can't eat? And quite often the food, the list of food that we believe we shouldn't be eating becomes much longer and longer and longer, and the list that we believe we can eat or should eat becomes shorter and shorter and shorter. And how can we enjoy food then? Well, we can't, because we just focus on restrictions. It's horrible, isn't it? And seriously, I've been there, done all this, and if you can relate to this, I understand this. Yeah, I've been there. Most of you know my story, how I've gone through emotional eating, binge eating, more than 10 years of eating disorder. So I've done all of this and tried all sorts of diets, but unfortunately, luckily, actually, I've realized it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. And thank God at some point I reached that point where I say, okay, I actually can do something and I can enjoy life. I can enjoy food. And actually only then, when I stopped dieting, stopped focusing on the food, my body started releasing that body fat, and I achieved, or I've reached the, I guess, body shape and body size that is natural to me. So I don't need to fight. There is no fight. There is just eating what I require. First of all, I really would like to say hi to Nikki. Nikki is connected to Kim. Thank you guys for being here. And if you haven't heard what I was talking about at the beginning, you're most welcome to ask me any questions at any time, and I will try to answer them as I go, or those questions that I have here on the website, I will try to answer them at the end of our session today. So, intuitive eating, getting rid of the worries, food worries, and creating peace with food, yeah. And it is learning to respond to our inner body cues. So what is it what my body's telling me? What is it what I really need? What is the food that I need? Because we were all born with that inner wisdom, what I need to eat, how much I need to eat, when I need to eat. But there are so many rules that we create in our own head. Yeah, or I understand even the diet society out there that creates all those rules, what we need to eat. We need to eat that much protein and that much fat, and then we had diets like low fat and high fat and low carbs and high carbs, and my goodness, so many rules. And then you need to eat 3 meals a day, 6 meals a day. I don't know. It's so confusing, right? And it creates so many problems for us. That's why I seriously don't believe in any rules around diet, because we know inside ourselves, if we get rid of all those rules that we create or we listen to, that people who are constantly telling us what to eat and how much to eat, only then we can create that freedom within ourselves and can actually enjoy and can actually relax and stop thinking about all the damn food all the time and actually enjoy it. Yeah. So intuitive eater, the best intuitive eaters are children. You were that child. You knew at the beginning what to eat and how much to eat and when to eat, and if you didn't like something, that you didn't eat it. But something happened along the way. And what was it that happened? It was that society outside that was telling us you need to be eating certain foods, you need to follow a dietary plans, you need to have more fats, more carbs, less fat, whatever that is out there, less sugar, right? Or we start watching TV and believe that what we see on TV or in the magazines, this is how we need to look like. Only then we're beautiful. Only then we are worth something. And the question is it really true? Yeah. And how does it impact us women? Or even men, but how does it impact us? Well, it actually takes the quality of our life away. So what we need to do is to go back to be those children. Eat when we are hungry. Stop eating when we are full. Understand if I overeat, or have emotional eating, what is it that leads me to doing that? It's a body that is telling you something. There's something in your life that is not helping you. Yeah, but what is that? This is what you can think about of yourself. When do you tend to overeat? Maybe you can even comment it underneath. When do you tend to overeat? When do you tend to binge eat? Or I'd like to know from you, why do you diet? If you do that, why do you go on a diet? What is it what you're trying to achieve? Apart from weight loss is very obvious, but why do you need to lose weight? Why do you believe you want to lose weight? What will be different? Yeah. And also what I like to talk about is in terms of intuitive eating it is like going to the toilet, because we go to the toilet when we feel like we need to. We don't follow certain rules. You need to go 3 times a day to the toilet. You go when your body's telling you. It's intuitive. And eating is the same. Very much the same. Not any different. So why would you eat when someone is telling you to do that instead of eating when your body's telling you? So it's creating that awareness and inner wisdom to be able to understand how we think and how we feel and what we believe about ourselves. Why do we diet? Why can we not eat only when we are hungry? When did you eat the last time when you were actually hungry, or when did you eat when you were not hungry, and why? Was it boredom? Was it because you were sad, frustrated, tired? All sorts of things. Or because you saw a really delicious pudding. It can be the reason as well. Yes, it's the triggers that trigger our mind, our emotions usually, why we do that. I just get a comment from Kim. I tend to binge it when I'm watching gaming, drawing. It's such a bad habit. So yeah, maybe it seems like it's a really mindless behavior, right? So it's you're eating while you're watching something, and most of the time we focus on TV anyway. How much of that food that you eat you're actually focusing on? It's like with popcorn and movies. We taste the first few, and then after a while we are so engaged in that movie that we actually don't even notice how we just go and swallow that popcorn, right? And we don't actually taste it. So it's the same with drawing. I know myself when I paint, my mind is so busy with painting, I actually forget the entire world. I forget everything around me. So if I was eating, I wouldn't be actually tasting it. Yeah. So what is it? Why? Question is, why do I do that? Is it to keep the hands busy? Sometimes it is to keep the mouth busy. Sometimes we are so focused on keeping that mouth busy. Yeah. So maybe zipping maybe having like water bottle, and sometimes it's that sucking on the bottle is actually more satisfying than just having a glass of water. Yeah. So I know it sounds bad, but or sounds funny, but it's really like that. Sucking on the water on the bottle actually satisfies us more because it reminds us of when we were fed by the mother, when we're sucking on the breast. That's the same thing. And sometimes people are smoking and addicted to smoking because they actually get the satisfaction through obviously the nicotine, but also that keeping the mind busy and the sucking on something. It's that old habit of sucking. This is how we create that feeling good, yeah, nurturing. I know it sounds strange, but it's the way it is. So sometimes there are really, really interesting reasons why we do certain things, yeah. And then Nikki, I don't really binge eat, but I definitely overeat when I'm with friends and when there are a lot of delicious things around me and I feel like I'm missing out if I don't have more. Well, I guess that's the question. Why do you feel like you're missing out? Does it mean that your body, so let's say if you are on a daily basis, if you don't allow yourself to eat those foods and then you're in a moment where you are in a social environment and you have those foods and then now your mind is, oh my god, have as much as possible right now because tomorrow you're not going to have it. So your mind knows that it's there is limitations. It's limiting. The foods are limiting. So you better get as much as possible right now. But if we told ourselves, I'm allowed to eat as much as I can, whenever I can, usually that it's less appealing. You know, it's how children, if you would tell your children, or if you would tell children, don't do this, don't do that, what are they going to do? They will do it, and it will be more appealing to them to do that. It's the same thing here. For us, I remember myself, and I'm talking really from experience here myself as well. I was focusing on that I'm not allowed to eat bread. Yeah, so I was binge eating on bread. I couldn't stop eating bread. It was ridiculous. Every night, and I gained really quite a lot of weight. Actually, for me, for my body, I gained quite a lot of weight because I was constantly eating lots of bread because I couldn't stop eating until I was asking myself, okay, why is it actually that I keep eating that bread and can't stop eating? Why do I feel like I will miss out if I don't eat it? That's because I actually didn't allow myself to have it. So the question that I asked then myself was, okay, what is it what I would tell actually someone else? If someone else told me, Eugenia, I really love bread, but I just shouldn't be having it, what would I tell them? What would I tell my clients? Why not? What's the problem with bread? Just have it, but just have good quality of bread. And allow yourself to have it when you need it, but good quality, because usually if it's a good quality and if I know I can have it at any time I want, interest will be less, the appeal will be less, and we'll be focusing on it much, much less. And that's what happened. You know what I did? I went and I bought a loaf of bread, a good quality sourdough bread, and I had only one slice. And after that slice, there was no interest. So the bread actually dried out and I had to throw it away. because I allowed myself to eat it. And I don't have that feeling that I'm missing out, because I'm not, because I can have it at any time I want. Yeah. So if you feel like you're missing out, the question is, why do you feel like you're missing out? Does it mean that you're not allowing yourself to eat that? And if yes, why? What are your beliefs about that food? What is it? Why are you thinking that you can't have it tomorrow? Okay, when I'm drawing, I always need to keep my mouth busy, so I tend to eat popcorn or gum. So I'll have to try the water bottle thing. Yes, try to suck on the water bottle. Yeah, it's the keeping the mouth occupied. Yeah, and I think a gum is actually quite a good thing. Popcorn depends on the popcorn. Yeah, if it's as long as it's not lots of fat and sugar, that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with popcorn. But yes, it's why. Why do I need to do that? Why do I need to keep myself occupied? Sucking on the water bottle could be one way of trying and see if it works. Yeah. Okay. So to create awareness and the inner wisdom is to ask yourself those questions that I keep asking you. Yeah, it's to learn to eat intuitively again, because you can do it. You can eat intuitively. But Nikki asked me that question: is it possible that intuitive eating isn't for everyone? Like, say, if our intuition is off. Absolutely. Intuition might be off, because if we have been following lots of different diets, and if we constantly kept listening to our people, what to eat and how to eat, and what foods to eat or not to eat, we lost. Or if we tend to overeat, actually, for those people who tend to constantly overeat and don't listen to the signal when body is sending us that signal, hey, you've had enough, and we constantly just ignore that signal, at some point your body will stop sending you that signal. So it's not going to send you that signal that you've had enough, and you are satisfied. At some point, some people really don't have that feeling, being satisfied or have had enough of food. And that's unfortunately what can happen when the intuition is lost and is gone, because we constantly listen to our people, all the dietary theories that are out there, or we are constantly overeating, and our bodies, and well, why should I give you that signal? Yeah, so the intuition is gone, and it might be off. So we need to relearn it. And we can, I promise it to you, you can learn it, but it requires to tune in, to listen to what is your body, how do you feel after certain foods, how does it make you feel, how does it impact your mood. Like sugar, for example, can actually impact your mood. Sugar and processed carbs can be a problem for anxiety and depression. Coffee can be also another, because it increases the cortisol, so the stress in your body. It actually can create more anxiety and more depression. Well, not more depression, but it can cause depression for you as well. Yeah, so need to look at the diet. How does it impact my mood? How does it impact my sugar levels? How do certain foods make me feel? Coffee, how does it make me feel? I know we love our coffee. God, I love my coffee, but I know if I have more than one, then I get actually quite anxious. It creates anxiety for me. And after that first high, it actually drops, and then I have anxiety, and then I feel really low as well, and that's usually where I can't function for the rest of the day. So yeah, it's knowing how do foods impact me. Sugar, the same. After we eaten something sweet, it spikes our body. It spikes our sugar, and then it drops. And then you might not realize why you're grumpy, why you're actually arguing with your boyfriend, and there's no reason for that. That's because maybe you had actually sugar an hour ago. And now the sugar levels are dropping, your body feels stressed, you feel wired, and you're not aware of that. So it's all interconnected. Our body is so incredible. I love it. Nikki, thanks, Eugenia. How did you come to the understanding of how your body really felt about certain foods? Did you keep a diary? I actually did, Nikki. Yes, I did keep a diary. So what I did is I would write down breakfast, what I had for breakfast, then how was my mood half an hour after, an hour after, 2 hours after, then what did I eat like for breakfast, yeah, for lunch and for dinner, and how did it make me feel? And by just writing down, I could really make those connections, how it made me feel, and how it impacts my body, how's my digestion, do I get bloating after certain foods? Yes, it's processed foods cause quite often bloating, like bread, like muffins. Yes, it's wheat that causes bloating quite often. It makes us feel uncomfortable, and then we might even be a little bit grumpy. Why? Because we had muffins earlier, yeah, and now we feel grumpy and bloated and just uncomfortable. Yeah, so a diary is a great way, but also if you don't have the time, I know that it requires time, is tuning in. So, okay, how to stop? Yeah, stop and feel. I've had something new. How do I feel? How does it make me feel? How do I feel in my body? Closing your eyes, so just feel in. Do I feel light? Do I feel heavy? What's going on in my digestion? What are my emotions? What is my mood? That's mindfulness. It's practicing mindfulness. Yeah, it's mindfulness is to be present in the moment, to feel your feelings, to feel your emotion without judgment. It's just what it is, and being present with what's in front of you. What's the situation? Why do I feel a certain way? And what can I do about it? Yeah, so either with diary or without, but it is taking that moment to just stop and listen and feel it. Yeah, tune in to your body. Kim, to be honest, I was happiest when I wasn't eating junk food and sweets every day for 3 months. There we go. So you don't need a diary to know this, right? You know it. But then the question is, because you say you were happy, yes, I wonder if that has changed. And if it's changed, why it's changed, and how can you come back to it? Tina, I've tuned in. Hello to everyone. Hello, Tina. Really, really good to have you. For people who are here, I don't know. I know Kim is here. I know Nikki is here. It's really great to get maybe some thumb ups or some hearts so that I know that you're there. Oh, there's someone actually I know from the country where I was born. Hi to you, привет. So the привет is hi in Russian. It's really, really great to see actually people coming on board. Great. Awesome. So we're talking about intuitive eating. I get really excited and I get really nervous when I see people commenting. So sometimes it takes me out with the way I think or what I say. So I'll lose track. But never mind, I'll come back. So how do we create awareness? Yeah, it's understanding our triggers, our thoughts, our beliefs, and our emotions. Well, what triggers me to eat in certain situations? So like Nikki said, the trigger might be social environment. There are foods that I usually don't have, and now I have them. So my mind is telling me, whoa, I want to have it. Yeah. So that can be another reason as well. And then other triggers could be maybe I'm bored. So like, okay, I'm bored, I'm drawing, I am, well, you're not really bored, right? But it is that trigger to keep your hands are occupied, but your mouth is not. So that's the trigger. Or when we watch a movie, sometimes my clients tell me, I was actually bored. I was watching a movie and I was bored. Okay, my question is, okay, if you're bored, why do it? Why do you do that? Yeah. What can you do? Maybe there's something else you can do instead of watching TV. Or if you still would like to watch TV but you're bored, can you watch something that is not boring? What is it what you can do? Maybe doing some stretching, maybe doing some yoga while you're doing it. Yeah, it could be anything. What is it what you can do? I could like to do actually some yoga, some stretching when I watch a movie. The problem is always if my partner is there, it's almost impossible because usually it's hands on and then he starts to touch me and clip me and whatever, but it creates a little bit of play as well. Yeah, so see what you can do not to be bored, to get rid of those triggers. And then the question, I'd like to go through a couple of questions that I would like you to ask, and I will post them later on. Question that you ask, and I might have done it before. It is why. Why do I eat? Are there any particular situations that make me decide to eat? Maybe you believe it's mealtime. Maybe it's 12 o'clock, so you think it's mealtime. But the question is, are you actually hungry? If you're not hungry, why do you need to eat? If you don't want to go to the toilet, why would you go to the toilet, right? So it's the same, it's a similar thing. So why do I eat? Is it because it's mealtime? Is it because I'm tired? So it's emotional. It's emotional, bored, frustrated. Is it because my energy levels are low when I'm tired? So what can I do instead? Instead of eating food, what is it what I can do? Get some rest, get some sleep. Maybe to create actually energy, can also do some exercises. Because we actually, when we go in, exercise or go for a walk, we actually create energy. Believe me or not, I know sometimes it's counterintuitive, but exercise creates energy. I mean, when do you feel better? After you were sitting for 5 hours or after you had half an hour gym session? Who needs a wisdom to be wise here? I don't know. I would say after half an hour gym session, right? After 5 hours of sitting, you just feel, oh my God, I'm so lethargic and tired. So what can I do when I'm tired instead of eating? Yeah. Boredom. Or is it a habit? How can I break the habit? So the question is why? Why do I eat? This is how you create intuition. So this is how you go back into intuitive eating. And then things like when. When do I want to eat? How often do you feel like eating? When was it the last time that you ate because you were hungry? And when? Or do you usually eat even though you're not hungry because you're bored, stressed, emotional, those kind of things, yeah? So if you are emotionally triggered, ask yourself what you can do instead of eating. So these questions, what can you do to cope better with emotions and triggers instead of eating? So it's tuning in and asking yourself those questions to create intuition, to go back to intuition, to learn to listen to your body rather than ignoring it. And then what do you eat? That's an interesting question as well. Do I eat what is part of a diet? So dried chicken breast and broccoli and maybe a little bit of avocado. What is what you eat? Or do you eat what satisfies you? What you actually like? Do you restrict yourself in certain food groups? And if yes, why? Is it, if it's allergies, it's absolutely fine. That's not a problem. I mean, that's what you need to do. But if it's because it's based on your own created ideas, so why do you do that? Yeah. So what is it what you can eat that satisfies you? What you can do to change it. What foods do you need to have in your pantry or fridge to make better food choices? maybe having a food diary would be actually great. I actually have a really great template that I might post it. I can't post it, but I would need to send it probably individually. So if you just let me know, and I can send you a template for like a diary that you can do. That's really great because it's actually also contains part of taking care of yourself, and then writing down what you had to eat, and then what was the reason. Was it because you were bored? Is it emotional? Is it for nutrition, or mindlessly? So I can give you that template if you would like. Just let me know. Just comment or message me, and I will send it to you. I just have a look. I just missed someone comment. I literally only eat because it's around the same time I usually eat, even if I'm not hungry. I feel I need to control my life. Yeah, I mean, it's creating awareness, right? That's what I'm saying. Creating awareness. So now you've created awareness, you know that you eat because it's a time. And tomorrow you might ask yourself, am I actually hungry? Do I actually need to eat or not? So you're really on the right track. Nikki. I almost always get hungry around the same time. So I do eat normal meal times, but sometimes I will eat even if I'm not hungry because I anticipate not having home cooked food or not having time. Sometimes my food choices are also based on what will make me less fat. No, it's awful. I'm guilty of casual calories counting. Yes, so yeah, what is it what I eat, and why do I eat that? So what are the restrictions? What are the thoughts that I'm creating? What are my beliefs? Um, why I eat certain things? And do they satisfy me? Does it serve me that way? If you're happy that way, no problem. But how does it serve you? Does it make you feel happy? Do you feel satisfied in your life? Or is it something that you want to change? And how important is it for you to change, and why? Yeah. So then also the questions that we can ask ourselves is how? How do we eat? Do I take time to eat? Or do I distract myself when I eat? I have my phone, I have my computers, I have my TV. Do I eat fast, or do I take that time? Am I present with that meal? Do I notice when I actually finish that meal? Or is it like watching TV? We would eat, for example, and then the food is gone, the meal is gone, and then, oh, I don't even notice. And the brain even doesn't register that you actually had something to eat. And that's when we go to the cupboard and I want something else. Opening the cupboard or in the fridge and standing there and just not knowing what to eat. You know this moment? I definitely know that. Not actually anymore, but still, sometimes it happens. But it used to be the case as well. And how much? How much do I eat? Yeah. Do I stop when I'm full and satisfied, or do I tend to overeat? Why? Yeah. So Nikki, you suggested something. Why do I tend to overeat in certain situations? Not all the time. And does it affect me, or does it not affect me? If it doesn't affect you, why changing? Yeah, it's not a problem. We only want to make changes if it really affects our life in a negative way. If it doesn't, just keep things the way they are. It's not a problem, right? So, and then how much do I eat? How do I control portion sizes? What can you do better to control and eat the right amounts? What is it possible? What can you do about it? And sometimes it's allowing yourself to eat what you enjoy as well. Yeah. And what can you do not to overeat? So what is the reason for not eating enough or for overeating? Yeah, because how much is sometimes we don't eat enough and then we are hungry because for reasons like we want to lose weight or we want to be on a diet or we want, yeah. So different reasons why we either overeat or don't eat enough. So these are the questions that I really would like to encourage you to ask yourself. Again, it's the why, when, what, how much, And that's it. And how? I think I know I've said it. These are the questions that you can ask yourself to create that intuition around eating, around your habits, your beliefs. Yeah, so that will help you. And I'll try to answer some questions that were asked. If our intuition is off, how do we know? Is there a way to get good food intuition back? I think we've just covered it. To ask yourself these questions will definitely help you, and to stop and listen to what is it what you actually need. The question that you can ask yourself next time when you get the trigger to eat is, am I hungry? And what am I hungry for? What is it what your body actually really needs? Is it food? And if it's food, what type of food? What is it what will satisfy you? Because usually if we eat food that satisfies us, we need much less of it anyway than if we eat food that doesn't satisfy us, because we'll look for that satisfaction anyway. Our mind, our brain is wired that way. We constantly seek for satisfaction. That's why we like sweets. That's why exercising makes us feel good, because it gives us that satisfaction. Yeah. Is it possible to gain weight while practicing intuitive eating? Well, that's a question that actually keeps coming up, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this session. And is it possible to gain weight? Yes and no. Yeah, so it depends on what your current situation is. If you're currently under eating and your body is really, really starving, you might, when you start really listening to your body might actually gain weight, because it will want to get into that comfortable zone. Yeah. And if you don't want to gain weight and don't want then eat intuitively, are you happy the way it is right now, and do you want to keep it that way? How does it affect you? What is the quality of your life? So these questions, they can help you to make the right decisions. Or you might actually lose weight, because when we constantly restrict our body, it will go into that starvation mode, so survival mode, and it will actually store body fat. As I said, I only lost weight naturally when I stopped dieting, when I stopped restricting my body from foods. Yeah, and my body then knew. So since I started eating intuitively and listening to my body knows I will get food. I will get the right nutrients. So don't worry. You don't need to hold on to this unhealthy fat in your body, because it doesn't need it for survival. It knows it will survive because it constantly gets food that is nourishing and full of nutrients. Yeah? So it can be either or. And most likely you will actually lose weight, but it's not so much about the weight. It's really how you feel. What is the quality of your life? Are you happy the way it is? Then stay the way it is. If you're not happy, maybe something needs to change. But only you can know it, and only you can answer that question for yourself. I definitely got to the point where food obsession was so bad and it impacted my life. I hated everything about food. I hated everything about myself. I didn't have energy. I was tired, and I was only focusing on what to eat, how much to eat. And I didn't enjoy my life. And I decided that it's not worth it. It's not worth that. And it actually was exactly the opposite. So I'm happy that it's over. I'm happy to experience that food freedom and body freedom as well. The question is it possible to sustain, I don't know actually how to pronounce it, but it's calories in, calories out. Well, I guess without answering that question, I can ask you that back. Is it possible to sustain it? How long can you sustain it? And how do you enjoy it? I've been there myself, counted the calories, and to me it wasn't sustainable. I didn't enjoy my life. I went to restaurants and had seriously, I had a container with boiled eggs because I was counting calories. And my boyfriend at that time was really frustrated that it sucks. It's real. I don't enjoy going out with you. Yeah. So how does it impact your life? And can you sustain like this for another 5 years or 30 years? And if not, why would you do that then now if you can't sustain it for the next 5 years? Why doing it now to yourself and to your body? That I think you can give yourself those answers without me wanting or to answer that. I know, sad. I know, as I said, I've been there. It's terrible, but I there is a way out. I know what I'm experiencing. I have experienced it. Yeah. Um. Then there's another question. How about if something is so delicious that it's hard to stop eating? Well, I think I sort of talked about it a little bit. Yeah. So why is it what you can't stop, and why would you need to stop first in the place? And why do you overeat? Yeah. So ask yourself those questions: the why, when, how much, and you can answer those questions yourself. Why isn't what you can't stop eating? Is it because you're restricting yourself? Um, or is it because it triggers you? Yeah, is it binge eating? Or is it a social environment? So ask yourself why can you stop? And what is it what you can do to support yourself? And then someone else asked, how do we know what is an acceptable amount of unhealthy food for a healthy lifestyle and diet? I think my mind and body might try to screw the facts on how often I can eat chocolate cake if I trusted only it. Wow, I think we all know, to be honest, how much is acceptable because we feel how it makes us feel, and if we start gaining weight, then maybe it's too much. We actually know, and to me, this question, I hope you will listen to this later on, Emma. It's like bargaining, and I have clients who bargain with me. How much can I eat of it? And I'm not gonna tell you 3 times a week or once a day. You know how much is acceptable, depending on your body, depending on how it makes you feel. Do you gain weight? Do you feel tired, lethargic, or not? Or does it not impact you? And we all know that we need to reduce the amount of sugar anyway. And when it comes to sugar, we're allowed to have about 6 teaspoons per day. At the moment, those people who tend to eat mainly processed foods, they have up to 23 teaspoons a day. So this is how much we can, eat that. You actually know this question, and the question is, are you trying to bargain with me? So it is asking yourself why, when, how much, and what, and you can answer those questions. I promise it. This is intuitive eating rather than asking for someone else's permission. Yeah. So I think, these I think all questions that were there. At the end, there were a few comments, and I believe I tried my best to answer it. If you're listening later, first of all, I really would like to thank you, those who came in and listened and participated. It means a lot to me. I hope that it's been helpful to you somehow and somewhat. If you have any questions after, always just type it in or message me directly, and I will do my best to answer those questions. And if there are any topics for live chats that you would like to know, or if you would like me to cover, please always make suggestions. I really would like, and maybe even do like a regular sessions, maybe once a week or once a fortnight, to do that. I really would love support you a little bit more, and let me know what way is the best way to support you. Maybe live trainings, maybe live sessions. And I'm currently preparing actually an 8 weeks online course that will cover these kind of things: emotional eating, intuitive eating, then how we can gain confidence in ourselves, how we can feel more value for ourselves and more love, and take care of ourselves. So it's going to be a great program for women in particular, and I'm really proud of it. Actually, I'm really looking forward to launch it sometime soon. It's I'm really preparing now, sort of the last things until before I can launch it. So maybe another 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's good to go. So thank you so much once again. Let me know what you liked about it, about the session today. I really would love to hear from you. You just comment what you liked, what you learned, and what you can implement, and if there are other topics that you would like to learn about. Thank you so much. I wish you a very good night, and I will talk to you very soon again. Bye, guys.